Hey everyone, Seth here. I am the co-host of our Wednesday night shows, Horror Movie Massacre, and our Sunday night show, Discourse. Flying solo again this week, while Ray takes a little bit of time off from doing these live streams. And I figured I'd just kind of jump on and just do a quick and easy ranking, and that is of Rob Zombie's films, at least of the ones I've seen. And I think it's kind of funny because like right after I created this link for this, I started seeing all the comments that popped up. Uh, all the people that hate Rob Zombie, talking about how his movies are shit, how he's a bad filmmaker. They all belong on the bottom, stuff like that. So I know he's a divisive filmmaker, where there's a lot of people who really hate all this stuff, and then there's some people who actually really do enjoy his work. I'm someone that's sort of like in the middle. um, some of his films are hit or miss for me, but if you like them, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool as well. um, but yeah, I just figured this would be a quick and easy kind of video to kind of put out. And yeah, and I'm gonna be going from I'm not including the Munsters because I haven't seen it yet, and I really don't want to. I saw the trailer for it, and I just wasn't didn't really look like it was for me. And then I'm also not including that animated film there, El Super Beast or whatever it is. So this is only going to be 7 films. And again, I know that a lot of people hate Rob Zombie and his films. Some people enjoy them. So if you're watching this on Facebook, you can hit the thumbs up. You could hit the laugh emoji. You could hit the angry emoji. You could hit the heart emoji, the care emoji, and you can troll in the comments. And if they pop up, I'll read them up. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you could either hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, and feel free to leave a comment. If you want, you can troll. It doesn't matter to me. But anyway, just gonna get this started. Oh, and it shouldn't have to be said, but I'm gonna say it anyway. This is just my personal ranking. Um, some people will probably not agree with where I place some of these films, and that's fine too. So if you disagree, again, feel free to troll. Um, before I get started, I'll go through some of the comments that we've already gotten. Our friend Sean Sheridan, from across the pond, as Ray likes to say, he usually leaves a lot of comments before we even go live. So a bit of a random episode, but okay. Rob Zombie ranking is hard. Half of his filmography I've only seen once. Yeah, there's actually there's 2 on this. No, yeah, 3 on this list that I've only seen once. And this is a random episode. Again, Ray was uh, not able to. He's taking a little bit of time off from this, and I just wanted to just kind of do something, just to kind of keep our YouTube channel kind of keep going at least with 1 video a week. And I figured a ranking of Rob Zombie's films would be a very easy topic for me to kind of take on as I fly solo. Um, Sean also says, I like Rob as a filmmaker, his visual styles. 2 things always hold him back: casting his wife as the lead in every movie. Yeah, that's a big problem for a lot of people, because there's one film on this list where I thought she did okay, outside of playing Baby Firefly, but yeah, she's just not like lead material, I don't think. She's okay in some stuff, but not great actress. Yeah, there's a reason. The only thing she did outside his movies was the Toolbox Murder, which I never saw. I never saw that either. But yeah, like I feel like, especially like Lords of Salem probably could have benefited from having a different actress in the lead. My own personal opinion. And speaking of my opinions on this, I didn't mention this. I was going to mention this is that with what when it comes to Rob Zombie, with me being sort of in the middle of his work, like I like some of his directing style to a certain extent. I like his sort of like the sort of grittiness and the sort of the brutality that he brings, but the big step back is his writing, and it's kind of annoying that he kind of almost writes every character as if they're part of the Firefly family. And I think if he was paired up with a decent writer, he might be able to put out something fairly decent, in my opinion. Yeah, and then Sean says that goes on to the same thing. It's called Subtly Rob. Yeah, definitely. Then Sean gives the start of his rankings. Let me click on it here. 3 from Hell, The Munsters, 31, House of a Thousand Corpses, Haunted World of El Superbeasto, Halloween, Lords of Salem. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Halloween 2, yes, his second movie is my favorite, Sue Me. And then he follows it up with and then The Devil's Rejects, and that's second close. I love that movie with passion. Yeah, so those are all Sean's comments. Oh, I didn't realize I got more. Ages of Film. What's up, man? I smashed the like button. Let's get it. Thank you. I actually saw your comment on the werewolf one I did last week. I didn't get a chance to reply yet or even check out your channel, but I will. So thank you for showing up. Ray's still missing in action. Yeah, well, he's busy right now. Just he's out there, saving lives, hunting things, killing people. I don't know. I'm just fucking around. Yeah, he just needed some personal time away from doing a show. Jonathan T. Franklin. I think Zombie gets a lot of. I want to undeserved hate. Is that what you meant? Because of the Halloween movies, but he's a capable director. His writing is always good, but he knows how to shoot a scene. Maybe if he partnered with a better screenwriter, yes, exactly. I kind of feel the same way, and I also think, yeah, because I remember when House of a Thousand Corpses and then even The Devil's Rejects came out. He seemed like he was fairly embraced by horror fans, but then he did the Halloween films, and he has not been forgiven. No worries, man. Love the werewolf stream, man. That was fun. Thank you. I appreciate that. I had fun doing it. I'm a huge werewolf fan. Huge werewolf fan. Sean says, "Hey, life comes first." While we're here off topic, but thoughts on Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom? I'm not a fan of that. I had a drunken meltdown, little hissy fit about it, just because I feel like they're gonna make it like a Tony Stark variant, and Doctor Doom is like one of my favorite Marvel villains, and I just felt like there could have been better casting for that. So yeah, not really a big fan of that. I just feel like they could have found someone else. But good for Robert Downey Jr. on the payday. And it's cool. The Russo brothers are coming back, so that's at least pretty exciting. Ages of Film. Oh, dude, I'm a werewolf not. I can talk werewolves for days. Yeah, same here, man. Same here. I don't recall. Did you comment some of your favorite werewolf? Name your top 5 werewolf films, okay? If you want, you could either do it here, or if you want to just go ahead, after this, if you want to go back to the werewolf video I did last week and comment there, and I will read it. But definitely curious of your top 5 or top 10 if you feel up to it. Just checking it out. We talking Rob Stokes? Yes, we are. I haven't got to that yet. Because I'm just kind of going through all the comments. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing my own ranking of the 7 Rob Zombie films I've seen. I have not seen the Munsters because I really don't want to, and I haven't seen the Haunted World of El Superbeasto. I feel like I saw parts of it like when I was maybe in my early to late 20s, maybe. I just I don't remember. Um, but yes, and I will get to my ranking very shortly. I'm still searching services for werewolf movies, and if they suck, I'll still watch it because I know at some point someone is gonna wolf out and fuck some shit up. Yeah, that's the thing. I always I take chances on werewolf films, and a lot of times I have to sit through like really terrible ones. But every once in a while you'll find a gem. Like I found back in '02, I found Dog Soldiers just on a whim, and then in what was it 2014 Late Phases, like that, like Late Phases was just like one that we saw at a Walmart, and my fiance uh, picked it up for me for Christmas, and then when I watched it I was just blown away. Like Late Phases, if you haven't seen it, it's one of my it's in my top 5. um, but yeah, I'm always on the search for werewolf films. Sean says 100 million per year is the parent pay he's getting. That's what John Campea says anyway. Yeah, yeah, he makes out pretty good with that. Ages film #1 Dog Soldiers. Yes, dogs. I love Dog Soldiers, and I mentioned it in another stream we did. I think we did some sort of like episode on like the movies that made me, and it was on me. This one, like we were gonna take turns. I know Nate. We did an episode with Nate where he went through. I talked about how Dog Soldiers, like when I first watched it, it was like at a time where like I was in a pretty low spot because of something, and that film just kind of really took me right out of my funk. And so Dog Soldiers is awesome, and I'll always have a soft spot for that. Per movie, sorry for Doomsday and Secret Wars. Yeah, okay, yeah. I know what you meant. But yeah. Ages of Film says #2 is American Wolf London. That's my favorite. It's my favorite horror film of all time. #3, The Wolfman 2010. Fucking yes. What an underrated movie. Super underrated. I don't understand all the shit that film got when it first came out. #4, Rise of the Lycans. I like that one too. #5, The Wolfman 1941. Yes, my favorite. Simon gives a thumbs up and popcorn. Thank you. Sean Sheridan, El Super Beasto is decent actually for a Rob Zombie movie. What is it? 200 werewolf movies you have seen? No, I'm not quite up to 200 yet. Last time I looked, I'm at 108, and that includes, as I mentioned last week. I don't know if you were around last week, Sean. I did a solo episode where I talked about werewolves, and uh, in my list I included some films that may be considered questionable for being on such a list, such as like She Wolf of London, because there's no actual werewolf; it's just someone who has lycanthropy, or Brotherhood of the Wolf, which is, you know, it's accurate to the superstitions of werewolves in that time period in France, and it's very much about the belief of werewolves at the time. But of course, the twist is it's not a werewolf. So, and then of course there's I included crossover films like Monster Squad, the Underworld films, stuff like that. So my list is sort of like anything that has a werewolf in it at some point. I mean, I'm not including the Twilight films. I've only seen like 2 of them, and I loathe them so much I refuse to put them on my list. Sean says I rewatched Dog Soldiers recently. Yeah, I was not a fan. Loved the Scottish Highlands setting, but the characters annoyed the piss out of me. Yeah, I guess I could see that. I just, again, like, um, when I first watched it, there was a personal thing happening with me, and it just completely took me out of my funk, and I really dig it. And it's a film that I continuously enjoy watching because I think it's like the most badass werewolf film, I would say, because like a lot of werewolf films, it's all about there's much more of story. There's much more going on with like duality, and this was just like sort of like action packed, like right from the start. So yeah, I mean, I get it. I don't. Ray doesn't like dog soldiers very much either. I will mention that. Ray doesn't like it either, mainly because there's no transformation. I got another friend who's not like really big on it either because of uh, the lack of hair on the bodies. But I love dog soldiers, so I grew up with Lon Chaney Jr. as my Wolfman, so I have a special place in my heart for that movie. But I also think it's a great film with great story and great acting. Absolutely, that's my favorite Universal monster film from that time period. I watch that film a lot. I love Lon Chaney Jr.'s performance as Lawrence. Really good. Sean says the Howlin'. I think that would benefit from a remake and American Wolf in London, a bit more serious horror movie, less campy. But I'm not a camp guy, so there's that. I prefer straight up horror. Uh, yeah, I would love to see. So the tough thing with the Howlin' is that the first book is adapted twice with the Howlin' and then the Howlin' for the original Nightmare. Howlin' 4 being closer to the book than the Joe Dante film. Um, so I don't know if I want to see another adaptation of that story, even though I think it could work. But like the fact that the second and third books were never adapted for that series blows my mind, and I would just love to see someone do a faithful adaptation of Gary Brander's trilogy. As far as American Wolf in London, I don't want to see a remake. I wouldn't mind seeing like a sequel of some sorts. Uh, as I've said before, like American Werewolves in London. And yes, do it serious because I think the problem with like something like American Wolf in Paris, which is like sort of like a fun guilty pleasure movie for me. The thing with American Wolf in Paris is that it took the wrong lessons from American Wolf in London, and it was like way too overly goofy. Sort of like how Return of the Living Dead 2 was like it leaned way more into the comedy than it needed to, and there wasn't that balance that the original films had. You know what I mean? Simon says, just found an early VHS copy of My Mom's a Werewolf for real cheap. Kind of a fun. I do want to see that. I haven't watched that one yet. That is on my list to watch. Ages of Film. Yep, mine too. I still go back to it. Also says Claude Rains does a great job in The Wolfman as well. Yes, yes. I like the dynamic between Claude Rains and Larry Talbot. And I know that in real life, I don't think they were very far apart in age, but uh, the, their father son dynamic worked really well for that film. And that's what I like about that's what I like about the 2010 remake, though, is like how uh, they told a faithful enough adaptation of that, but they like flipped the father son dynamic on its head, and so instead of like a warm relationship, it was actually a very cold one, um, and I appreciated that. Kathy says, "Hi Seth, hi Kathy, how you doing?" At some point, I'm gonna be talking about Rob Zombie's films. Somehow we got back on werewolves. I gotta run in there and real quick. I'll jump back on in a few minutes. All right, man. And no, if you miss it, you miss it, and you could always just check it out on YouTube. A Howlin' review series should do 30 movies of them. There are what, 9? There's eight films. Yeah, I know, like, when I first joined the Horror Syndicate, I did my very first video that I tried doing for YouTube. I did a ranking of all of the Halloween films, and it was at a time where I was a lot more camera shy back then, and yeah, I'm still not the best speaker, but like I was a lot worse at speaking on camera back then. So maybe I should do like an update. I'm trying to get ready to do like a show on all of the all the Halloween films with me. Uh, but that means he has to rewatch Howlin' 3: The Marsupials. I prefer American Woman from Paris over London. Oh, really? Yeah, I mean Paris is a fun one. It's uh it's a guilty pleasure movie for me. It's just like the effects don't hold up quite well for me. All right, I think I got to the end of all the current comments. Um, I'll get back to them in a little bit. So I'm gonna take a sip and then I'll get to my ranking. So again, just to reiterate what I mentioned in the beginning, um, Rob Zombie is a divisive filmmaker. People hate him, people love him. Um, I'm in the middle. So some of his films would definitely benefit from a better writer. That's all I'll say. But to kick this off, number 7 for me, last place for me, is Three from Hell. Three from Hell makes me mad. That movie should not exist because it essentially just wipes out the perfect ending for the Firefly family. Like the way the Devil's Rejects ends, I think it's the perfect end for those characters. And to take it back with some bullshit excuse how they survived all those gunshots, and then just to basically do the same movie over again, but now, you know, without Sid Haig, because I know he's in it for a little bit, but he passed away while they're doing it. So Three from Hell is my least favorite Rob Zombie film because it completely ruins the ending to The Devil's Rejects, and I feel like it's probably the most unnecessary film um, that he's ever made. So there's that. Um, number 6 and number 5, I'm just gonna do these together. It's Halloween and Halloween 2. Um, Ray and I covered all the Halloween movies last year from like August to October. We did each movie in reverse, leading into Halloween with the original. And so, if you want more in-depth thoughts on them, check those out. I don't recall if we did them both individually or if we did them both as like one episode. But the thing I like about his Halloween is like it sort of kind of brought back the more horror elements to it. And what I mean by that is like with H2O and Resurrection, they were in that Scream era where everything just looked polished, everything kind of felt safe. And then along comes Rob Zombie, and he makes effectively terrifying films with his Halloween films, and Michael's an absolute root. Now, the first film is a little disjointed because it's like two halves. So you got this one half with this really unnecessary explanation of Michael as a kid, and then second half kicks off and it's more of a straight up remake of John Carpenter's film. So it's a little disjointed in that way. I don't like the idea of giving Michael a backstory. Although, you know, I've said before, I do appreciate when filmmakers try to do their own thing. You know, one of my favorite remakes of all time is Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which changed up a lot from the original novel and the original film. And you know, same with like The Fly. I mean, even you could say John Carpenter's The Thing is. I mean, you could call it a readaptation, and it is a little bit closer to the novel than than the '50s film, but like again, he found his own voice and he did his own thing with it, and so I do appreciate that aspect of it. But just giving Michael this trash family upbringing, uh, it was just a little too much for me. And his dialogue is Rob Zombie's dialogue is definitely terrible. And then for Halloween 2, I hated it when it first came out, but it's a movie that kind of grew on me a little bit because it is, it's pretty unique. Now, both of these films aren't films that I reach for very often. Sometimes I skip them when I do my Halloween marathons. Um, so yeah, and I feel like with all the Halloween talk that we've done, um, I'm just going to leave those there. So number 7, Three from Hell. Number 6 and 5 are Halloween and Halloween 2. Number 4 is going to be 31. 31 is a film I've only seen it once, but I remember thinking it was okay. I think the issue that I had with it was that it did kind of feel a little too similar to his first two films, like as far as like the the setup to the story. You got people on the road and they come across these bad people, whatever. But I think as the film goes along, there's some really interesting concepts in there, really interesting visuals, and for me, the standout is Richard Brake. I really like him as I can't remember the character's name, but I actually do like him in that film. So 31 comes in at number 4. Number 3 for me is Lords of Salem. I think it's his most unique film. It's the film where it seems like he was trying to do something a little different. Um, and I kind of appreciate that. And it's got this kind of interesting story to it. Um, it's like one of those films where it's like, I wish he cast a different actress for the lead role in that because I will say it's probably the best of Sherry's performances in all of his films is in Lords of Salem, but it's a little distracting knowing that it's her, and I feel like maybe a better actress could have elevated the film a little bit more. So Lords of Salem is another one where I've only seen it once, and I think it's good. I know Ray really enjoys it, but yeah, it's number 3 for me because I do appreciate the fact that Rob Zombie did try to do something different. Because I mean, you look at Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses, and 31, and Three from Hell, and they're kind of very similar in a lot of aspects. So uh, I just appreciate the fact that he did do this one film that did feel a little bit different than the rest of his films. So there's that. Number 2 for me is House of a Thousand Corpses. I remember seeing that movie in the theater when it first came out. I really enjoyed it. It was a nice little throwback to 70s horror, particularly Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Um, and I remember it had a good soundtrack, and I was really invested in it. But then it just seemed like by the time I got to the third act, it kind of fell off the rails. I think where the movie really peaked is that one moment where the police are at the house and just shit goes sideways for them, and there's like that one like I think crane shot going up, and uh, uh, Otis shoots Walton Goggins' character. I think that was a great moment, great scene. But then when you get into the third act and you start getting into the underground Dr. Satan stuff, that's where it kind of lost me. So I do enjoy House of Thousand Corpses. I do think it's a really fun movie. I do enjoy watching it, but it's just like the third act is just where it kind of loses me. So House of Thousand Corpses is number 2. Number 1 for me is The Devil's Rejects. I think it's his best film, period. Um, I think it's great as a sequel. I love the idea of sort of flipping it. So it's like House of Thousand Corpses, we follow these like four characters that are on the road, and they come across the Firefly family. And this one is the reverse. Now we're following the Firefly family as they're going on the road, as they're being hunted. Um, Devil's Rejects, I think, is just a really fantastic, well-made sequel that doesn't do the same thing as the first one. It changes everything up, changes the formula up. Um, Great performances from Sid Haig, Bill Moseley. Um, I'll give some credit to Sherry Moon for her performance as Baby in that one. I think they were kind of fun together. And yeah, it's just a wild movie. It's really really good, and I dig William Forsythe. Um, I do find it kind of interesting though that House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects were clearly inspired by Texas Chainsaw Massacre films, and then years later, the later Texas Chainsaw Massacre films, in particular Leatherface, really kind of rips off the Devil's Rejects. So I thought that was kind of funny. But so yeah, seven's Three from Hell, 6 and 5 are Halloween and Halloween 2. Four's 31, 3 Lords of Salem, 2 House of a Thousand Corpses, 1 The Devil's Rejects. And again, he's not my favorite filmmaker. Some of these films I've only seen once. I'm in the middle on as far as like Rob Zombie and his films. I will say I like him enough that I will watch some stuff that he puts out. The Munsters excluded, because that movie just didn't look good. If The Munsters was good, let me know, and I'll maybe give it a shot. But yeah, so that is my ranking of Rob Zombie's films that I've seen. And I know I was kind of quick going through them because honestly, um, some stuff I just don't remember as well as some other stuff, because I've only seen them like once. And all right, so I'm gonna get back through the comments here. Sean says, I have the first one on DVD, Howlin', and not much desire to watch the rest. I watched Hellraiser for you. That was enough. Though that was I liked half hated, half so split down the middle. Fair enough. Fair enough. Appreciate you diving into the Hellraiser movies with us. Uh, Kathy says Devil's Rejects is good. Love the end. Yes, the ending is fantastic. Perfect way to end those characters. You got Freebird playing as they're going towards the cops. They're all wounded. They're all getting shot to hell. Perfect ending. Why he felt the need to kind of take that back and revisit that world, I have no idea. Simon says he totally agrees on number 7. Yep. 3 from Hell feels like the most pointless movie by a mile. I think Rob himself did not give a rat's ass, to be honest. Yeah, I know. It's weird. Why would you make it, Um, his first Halloween is overstuffed. There should have been 2 movies, one Young Michael to flesh it out, and the second, the remake stuff. Yes, it is disjointed for that reason. And I agree with that. I don't know how many people, I mean, I don't know how many people would want to see him at an asylum, like for an entire film, and not have him have the mask. But yeah, the first Halloween film that he did feels like it's 2 movies just kind of crammed together. I get the hate for Halloween 2, but he not just do the same stuff again like the previous 9 and made his own, which I respect. Yeah, exactly. And there are some really cool visuals in that. People get hung up on the whole white horse thing. I don't. I don't really care. Um, it appears in a couple times, and I do like the idea of like the visual idea of like him seeing his family and even seeing like a young him. So he sees the part of him that died. I don't know. 31 is not a great movie, but it's a fun concept. And Richard Brake as Doomhead. Yes, there we go. Yes, exactly. Richard Brake is is the standout of that film. Um, Lords of Salem. Ugh. Yeah, not for everyone, I guess. Lords of Salem is badly due a rewatch. It's been so long since I saw it. Yeah, I mean, me too. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I watched any Rob Zombie film. No, it might have been last year when we're going through the Halloween films. I think I watched those. I may have watched House of Thousand Corpses last year as well. House of Thousand Corpses is decent, but it feels a lot of style with grindhouse 70s, but not much substance because I don't really care for the characters. Yeah, I can get that. They were just sort of like fodder. Ages of Film says, I'm back. Welcome back. What movie we talking about? I kind of went through my list, my Rob Zombie ranking list pretty rapidly because some of them I haven't seen in a long time. Some of them I've only seen once. And again, this was just sort of like a spontaneous video to do, just to kind of to keep our YouTube thing going. Um, so I just figured ranking Rob Zombie's films would be pretty easy to do. So, and for me, it was. I know, you know, everyone's opinions vary, rankings vary, but yeah, Freebird, fabulous ending. Yes, absolutely. Uh, Good old gritty Western road movie. Awesome soundtrack. William Forsythe. Awesome. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, avoid the monsters. Sherry Moon, barf bag, bad performance. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Uh, Man, it's funny too because like when I first heard that he was going to do like a PG Munsters movie, I was like, oh, that's cool. I kind of want to see Rob Zombie kind of step out of his comfort zone, do something completely different. And if it's like in that PG rating, obviously they won't be talking like the Fireflies. And I was like, maybe he can do something really cool with this. But then I saw the trailers and I'm like, no. I know sometimes too, like there's been times where it was like I thought a movie was gonna be shit because of the trailer and I ended up really liking it. But like this one I just can't get behind right now. I'm all with you, but I got two and one flip for me. Anyway, good ranking. Yeah. Yeah, I mean I could see that. You talking about House of Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects. I could definitely see that. And thank you, by the way. Couldn't watch it. Monsters horrifically bad. Yeah. I'm in film school. Cool. Awesome. So I'm watching all kinds of movies all the time, but horror is my favorite genre for sure. Yeah. That's awesome. How many movies do you own out of curiosity? I know a guy who owns over 8,000. I definitely don't think I have 8,000, but I have maybe 2,000. I don't, I never actually counted. I probably should at some point because I got these here and they're tall and they go all the way to the floor, and then I got more way over there on the opposite side. I got like some of these the ones over there they're a little bit smaller, but so I got like movies like sort of like stacked in front of movies. Like I haven't counted. I think Rob's done with movies for the long term before the Munsters. His last few movies were crowdfunded, and he has his music career. That is true. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I totally forgot about that. About how like Three from Hell was crowdfunded. Um, yeah. I mean, his. I've always been a fan of his music, so at least I liked White Zombie, and then I liked his first solo album there, Hellbelly Deluxe. Um, some of them after that were a little bit hit or miss, but yeah. So there we go. There are my rankings, and I think I got through all the comments. Yep. So anyway, what are you guys' rankings? I know Sean shared his. What's his name? There was a guy who said that he'd switch. Yes, Simon said that he would switch 1 and 2. Um, how do you guys feel about Rob Zombie overall? He's a hit or miss for me. But he was supposed to do a Blob remake, but that fell through. Thank God. I wouldn't want him to do the Blob. Yeah, no. Trying to think what he would be perfect for. Oh, if to go back to werewolves, if Rob Zombie did a remake of Werewolves on Wheels, I would 100% support that because that is the most Rob Zombie film not directed by Rob Zombie that I've ever seen. Haven't seen all of his films. Not a big Rob Zombie fan. Yeah, he's pretty divisive. Pretty divisive. I know that earlier tonight when I set up this show, it shared a link on our Facebook page, and instantly I started seeing like the laugh emojis and just like all these comments about how he's like a shitty filmmaker and all his movies suck and they're all pulling on the bottom. So I mean, I've seen a lot of people defend him, but you know, he's very divisive. There's a lot of fans that don't like him at all. Devil's Rejects #1, House of Thousand Corpses #2. Won't watch the others. Fair enough. I've only seen the first 4, and the only one I like is Halloween. Fair enough. I think after Halloween, he said, fuck doing remakes. He only did 2 after they gave him complete control. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Halloween was a nightmare for him. But, like, something like Werewolves on Wheels wouldn't be as complicated for him because, like, that doesn't have, like, the fan base like Halloween. Because I remember, actually, all the reports when he was actually filming his first Halloween of, like, Halloween fans would be outside protesting the fact that he's actually remaking the movie, and he got a lot of shit from fans for so many years for his movies. So yeah, I think he's done with big franchises. I don't even think he would do Texas Chainsaw, and I don't think he should do Texas Chainsaw because even though he'd be a perfect fit for it, he's already kind of done it with House of Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Well, yeah, I just that. Yeah, I just feel like he's already kind of done that type of story, so I kind of wouldn't want him to do it. Simon I says I actually like his movies more than his music. Big horror fan, big metal fan, just not that style, I guess. I really enjoy his movies and like his aesthetic, but you definitely hit it on the nose with his dialogue. It's pretty subpar. Yeah, I think he's a decent enough filmmaker. I think he's a competent filmmaker. I think he's good at uh, bringing grit and brutality and just all out horror to his films. It's just I just wish he would pair up with a good writer who could probably like tone down some of the extreme dialogue and make things just a little bit better. Because I mean, he's also someone he has some good ideas in there too, like Halloween 2. You know, the really dives into the idea of how traumatic events affect people, and I just feel like his writing didn't do him any favors with getting those themes across, if that makes any sense. Um, Dude, if you did a werewolf stream once a week or once a month, I'd totally be down for that. Yeah, me too. I've been trying to push for a lot of like a werewolf stuff on this channel. And again, like these, what I'm doing tonight and what I did last week is sort of like unusual because for the most part, I'm not solo. It's usually our Wednesday night shows, Horror Movie Massacre is me and Ray, the owner of the Horror Syndicate, and we sort of like go through. We're going through franchises, film by film, and having a complete, total discussion about them with our rating system. And then on Sunday nights, usually we do our discourse show, which is like myself, Ray, Nate, and Jared. But like everyone's sort of like super busy at the moment, and I'm sort of like the last man standing. Um, but so yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't mind jumping on from time to time, and I mean, fuck, there's a lot of werewolf movies I can talk about, and I could, yeah, I'd be happy to do it. Very happy to do it. However, I prefer zombie versus peel. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can see that. I mean, I like Get Out and I liked Us. Absolutely did not like Nope. I own it. Um, my fiance thought I liked it, so she bought it for me, and I was like, "No, you remember? Didn't like it." So uh, he needs to direct a movie and get a co-writer. I think he has a fantastic horror movie in him. If he did that, yeah, I agree. It would be a place I could let my werewolf fandom run free. Absolutely. I will definitely, dude. I'm definitely game for that. Uh, just going back to this, I think once things return to normal for this channel, I will consider doing that on like a different night. So maybe like a Thursday night or something like that. So um, yeah, well, I'm definitely down for that. I always notice with his movies how many times Sherry Moon shows her ass. I think that's Rob saying, "I'm getting this, you are not." Yeah, he, he that's his trophy wife. I don't like Jordan Peele. Did you ever do Candyman on this channel? I thought we did. I thought we did. Um, Now I can't remember. I think at least on our Discourse show, we covered Candyman the original, and I think we had a discussion about the sequel that came out a couple years ago. Um, but I absolutely love the original Candyman. I'm actually a fan of the second film as well. I think it has a badass title, Farewell to the Flesh. Part three blows. I don't think I finished it. And then the new one that came out, I'm torn on it because I like a lot of it, but I feel like some things could have been better, and I think there could have been way more Tony Todd in the film than just that one little cameo. Maybe we could do a werewolf collab together at some point. Just a thought. Yeah, definitely give that a thought because I'm always interested in talking talking werewolves. Candyman remake was awful. I think it had some good stuff in it, um, but it could have been a lot better. I do like that it was a sequel though, because the the main character in that was is actually the baby from the first film that she saved. You did actually. I rewatched them all recently. I got a half hour into three and said screw this. So yeah, I think it's probably where I was at too. I mean, like when I first tried watching Candyman 3, it was like when it first came out, and I just couldn't get in. I could not finish it. So yeah, there we go. There's my ranking. There's all the comments. Glad to always jump back into werewolves with you guys. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna be jumping off in a minute. If anyone else has any final words to say, um, I'm going week by week with this. I don't know when Ray will be available to come back. If not, I'll have another topic for next week. Um, I'm trying to change things up a little bit per week. I didn't want to just do werewolves again, but I'm definitely gonna get back into those at some point because there's a lot I can say. There's a lot that I can cover with that. So if anyone has any suggestions for future topics, let me know. Again, if you're watching this on Facebook, hit the thumbs up, hit the, or you could hit the heart emoji, or you could hit the laugh emoji, or you could hit the angry emoji. You can leave a comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the thumbs up or hit the thumbs down and leave a comment, and share this. You know, help us out. We're at like uh, 1.8 thousand now for subscribers on our YouTube. So doing pretty well for ourselves, and we like to see more. Thank all you guys for showing up tonight and keeping me busy with conversation. This has been fantastic. Uh, I'll finish up the comments here and then I'll bounce. So, Candyman remake was a slick, well-made production, but the social commentary that they shoved in my face, which I never like in movies. Yeah, it was a little on the nose. Need more werewolves again, please. Well then, all right, you guys convinced me. All right, fine. The next one I do, I'll go back to werewolves. Twist my arm, guys. Just rename the channel the Werewolf Syndicate. Oh my god. Sean, you're brilliant. I will pass it along. Yeah, man, it's been fun talking with you. It's been fun talking with all you guys. So thanks again for showing up and engaging in conversation with me. I know it's a divisive topic that I did tonight, as far as like how people feel about the filmmaker, and glad to see that people would rather talk about werewolves than Rob Zombie. So anyway, have a good night, everyone. Evil dies tonight.